I want you to represent this family. As a matter of fact, I want you to bring home the United States
Hey
champ.
there, champs. Welcome to Pro Wrestle Insider, your WWE update station. Hit that bell, and let's step into the ring. Just when the crowd thought SmackDown had settled into a familiar rhythm, there was a shift in the air. The arena hummed with anticipation, the lights bright and the energy palpable as Solo Sikoa stood tall in the ring. His chest heaved with exertion, his stance radiating the confidence and power of a man who had just proven himself once again. There was a momentary sense of triumph, a fleeting pause where fans could almost breathe and appreciate the sheer dominance on display. The cheers were deafening, the excitement tangible, and for a brief instant it seemed like the chaos had ended and the night would continue as expected. Solo looked around, surveying the crowd and the ring, fully aware of the respect and attention he commanded. In that moment, everything seemed settled, a picture of a champion at the top of his game, untouchable and steady, if only for a few fleeting minutes. Or you see, a sudden shift. Then, without warning, the arena's lights went out. Darkness enveloped the ring and the audience alike, and the roar of the crowd diminished into puzzled murmurs. The sudden absence of light created a sense of unease that seemed to crawl along the spine of everyone present. Fans whispered and murmured in confusion, trying to process what had just happened. The darkness stretched on just long enough for hearts to race and imaginations to run wild. In that suspended moment, anything felt possible. The only sounds were those of anticipation and the collective gasps of the crowd as they waited for what would come next. Then, as abruptly as it had gone out, the lights flickered back to life, revealing a sight that would be etched in memory. Shadows surrounded the ring, mysterious figures emerging from the darkness, casting long, flickering silhouettes that hinted at mischief and intrigue rather than outright danger. The appearance of the Wyatt Sicks. As the lights stabilized, the ring appeared crowded with the figures of the Wyatt Sicks. Their presence was imposing, yet not immediately threatening. Instead, there was an aura of mystery, a sense that they had arrived not to wreak havoc, but to send a message, to assert a presence that demanded attention. Fans watched with wide eyes, trying to process the sudden turn of events. Solo Sikoa, for the first time that night, shifted uneasily, realizing that the arena no longer felt like a stage where he could easily control the situation. There was a subtle tension in the air, a feeling that this wasn't about an immediate confrontation, but about establishing dominance in a way that was more psychological than physical. Each movement, each shadow, seemed calculated to unsettle rather than attack outright. The Wyatt Sicks, with their coordinated appearance, reminded everyone that the world of SmackDown was bigger than any one wrestler, that sometimes the story was as much about suspense and presence as it was about punches and pins. Uncle Howdy emerges. From within the shadows, a single figure stepped forward, Uncle Howdy. His arrival didn't involve violence, but rather theatricality and a strange, eerie calm that drew the audience in. He approached the ring in a slow, deliberate manner, capturing attention with his enigmatic demeanor. The spectacle wasn't frightening in a harmful way, but rather cinematic and dramatic, reminiscent of storytelling elements that make professional wrestling more than just a sport. The crowd was captivated, leaning in to see what would happen next. Instead of focusing on an act of harm, the narrative highlighted the tension of suspense, the anticipation of conflict, and the intricate psychology that makes such moments memorable. Solo's reaction was a mixture of surprise and calculated caution, emphasizing the stakes without needing a destructive act. This was storytelling at its finest, a demonstration of presence, aura, and the ability to command attention without a single strike thrown. Psychological tension. This moment marked a turning point, not with physicality, but with psychological impact. The appearance of the Wyatt Sicks and Uncle Howdy created a scenario where Solo Sikoa was forced to confront uncertainty and the unexpected. Wrestling is as much about mental games as physical ones, and this sequence captured that perfectly. The story wasn't about who would fall first, but about the pressure of the unknown and the weight of expectations. Fans were left on the edge of their seats, imagining countless potential outcomes. Would Solo assert his dominance immediately, or would he approach the situation strategically? Would the Wyatt Six's enigmatic presence evolve into direct competition, or remain a looming psychological challenge? These questions engage the audience in a way that punches alone cannot, tapping into the suspenseful, narrative-driven side of the sport. The anticipation created a shared experience where imagination filled the gaps left by deliberate restraint. Future possibilities. From a storytelling perspective, the night opened multiple narrative avenues. Solo Sikoa could respond in a variety of ways, through strategic planning, character evolution, or emotional reflection. Meanwhile, the Wyatt Six's presence set the stage for suspenseful encounters that could span weeks or even months. The storyline could unfold in layers, incorporating psychological tension, character development, and high-stakes drama. This approach emphasized the power of storytelling in wrestling, the ability to engage audiences emotionally and mentally without relying on physical harm. Fans could look forward to clever mind games, unexpected alliances, and moments that would keep them guessing. The anticipation alone was a win, and the foundation was laid for a memorable sequence leading into major events like pay-per-views or season finales. The unpredictability factor. One of the most exciting elements of this scenario is its unpredictability. In wrestling, the unexpected keeps audiences engaged, and the Wyatt Six's dramatic appearance ensured that nothing could be taken for granted. Solo's next steps were uncertain, the crowd's reactions could influence creative decisions, and the possibilities for twists and turns were endless. Every move now carried weight, every decision by characters could shift momentum, and the suspense would be maintained over time. This unpredictability is a cornerstone of compelling wrestling storytelling, keeping fans invested in both the present moment and the long-term narrative. It reinforces why wrestling is as much about anticipation and imagination as it is about in-ring athleticism. Conclusion. In the end, the lights went out, the Wyatt Six appeared, and SmackDown was forever changed, not through violence, but through suspense, psychological tension, and masterful storytelling. Solo Sikoa was left with a challenge that tested not just his strength, but his ability to navigate uncertainty and presence-based storytelling. The Wyatt Six established themselves as a force to be reckoned with, not by causing harm, but by creating moments of intrigue, suspense, and anticipation. Fans were left with questions, theories, and a deepened investment in the unfolding narrative. Will Solo rise to meet the challenge, or will he navigate the situation with strategic restraint? The answers lie ahead, and the excitement of what comes next is palpable. Wrestling, at its core, is storytelling. And this moment exemplified the dramatic, thrilling, and unpredictable nature of the sport.